The movers, the shakers ain't nowhere to hide. Black girl, manifest power in your hands. Dance to your rhythm, shake up all the lands. They can't dim the glow built within your chest. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess. Got ancestors whispering, girl, don't you forget. You're a work of wonder, not bound by regret. Spin the globe with your hips, make the world confess. Black girl, your magic, you define success. Mirror reflections, don't lie, they're blessed. Every scar, every story is a badge of finesse. Say it loud, say it proud, be the voice that'll crest. Black girl, manifest, ain't nothing less than to accept. Black girl, manifest, power in your hands. Dance to your rhythm, shake up all the lands. They can't dim the glow within your chest. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess. Got ancestors whispering, girl, don't you forget. You're a work of wonder, not bound by regret. Spin the globe with your hips, make the world confess. Black girl, your magic, you define success. Black girl, manifest, you define success. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, everyone. Hey, that song was created by our guest tonight. That's Dr. Dre Cleveland, Black Girl Manifest. Hey, welcome to the set, Dr. Cleveland.
Thank
I
you.
like that. You sent me a couple. We'll get into that a little bit later in the broadcast. But hey, welcome, everyone. Welcome to our global radio audience. This is the Buzz Studio W Global Radio Network. We do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anywhere, anytime, any place around the globe. And we have a special show that we do each and every Tuesday. It's called Groove Swing Speaks. And that airs 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. on the East, and 6 Central. And I welcome to the set our panelists. I see Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hey,
And
Tiffany.
fellowman Robert Hicks. Hey, my brother, Robert.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome to everybody watching the show tonight. And this is episode 104.
Ooh, ooh.
Wow. That's 2 years. That's 2 years. Wow. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I'm having a great time here. And both of you, meet
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Dre. Dr. Dre
Hello.
Cleveland. Hey, Dr. Dre, I like that song, Black Girl Manifest. But before we get into that, I would like for Tiffany to do the honors.
All right. Well, we have Dr. Dre Cleveland, your personal power coach, is a prolific speaker, author, life coach, and intuitive healer. With nearly 20 years in the field of personal and professional development, Dre has brought eye-opening and intriguing programs and keynotes to various business, educational, and social organizations that tap into the core of who we are as human beings on our personal journeys to self-discovery, self-love, and manifesting our deepest desires. She has also been invited to speak on both national and international stages, sharing the platform with powerhouse speakers like Cheryl Wood, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant, and Les Brown. Dre has been featured in the documentary Head Ladies in Charge and has participated in various radio shows, including the Jeff Fox radio show and several events, including the New York Black Expo and the Sister to Sister Youth Summit featured on Essence.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Miss Dr. Dre Cleveland.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
welcome
you.
to the set. Welcome to the set. Welcome to the set. Hey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is a landmark for us. episode number 104. We started this 2 years ago with the idea of connecting the dots. Now, Tiffany and Robert, Tiffany is part of the Swing Five Swing Social Fellowship Organization, and Robert and I, we're part of the Groove Five Groove Social Fellowship Organizations. And these two organizations, what we do, they're our sister, we're their brothers, and we want to connect the dots, bringing wealth and information around the globe. And we have people such as yourself. We have doctors, lawyers, teachers, preachers, authors, just about anybody that could impact our lives and uplift and motivates others to do the same thing. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell us, I'm going to start off with the first question. Tell us, what is a power coach?
Ah, well, that is a great question. So, your personal power coach, right? And so it has a couple of meanings. When I first started my business, or when it first started moving forward, I had a brand called the Power Players Club,
And
and
I guess when you're talking about specifically that Dr. Cleveland is a power coach, he mentions that in an acronym, which is P.O.W.E.R.
yeah,
So that's basically the aspect of what the idea of a power coach is. So,
hmm
so that pretty much is the idea of what we're asking for this specific question.
yeah. So, in other words, you want to know what the acronym stands for.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, so like I was saying, I had my brand was called the Power Players Club, and the power was an acronym. It was more of the acronym then, which stands for five things that I say that everyone needs to be playing powerfully in the game of life. And so the P stands for perception is key. O is opening up to clear and active communication, also known as only focus on what you want. The W, witness yourself as a responsible person. E, energize your commitments. And R, relate to the world with gratitude, right? So that's what power stands for. So over the years, though, it at first it was like, I'm your personal coach who trains you in power. And as I've grown and developed in the coaching field, it's really become about connecting people to their personal power. And that's what I really stand on today.
Nice.
How long have you been doing this? Is you said for over 20 years? And what inspired you to go in this particular profession?
Well, 20 years ago, coaching was brand new. It was still brand spanking new as a baby, right? Nobody really ever knew what coaching was. But I was a person who was kind of already doing that in my life. You know how like you always you might be the friend who everybody comes to it for advice and what do I do here? And if you were in this situation, what would you do? That kind of thing. And I had decided to write a book because I was like, rather than repeating this over and over again, I could
Mhm.
just write a book. And the book was called God is a Woman, 7 Keys to Self-Love and Empowerment for Women. And when I wrote that book, I had gotten some people to, read it and write a little blurb about it on the back, try to make it look all professional and everything. But the woman that I chose, she happened to be a life coach. And I never heard of that. She had told me, she's like, wow, this is really great. You should think about being a coach. I thought she was talking about like a sports coach because I never heard of a coach before. I was like, why would she want me to be a sports coach?
Mhm.
She just read this book. That's where my brain went. I had no clue what that was. But she did explain it to me. And she said, that's really what you're already doing. But except you can get paid to do that. Like that could be your job. I was like, I can get paid for doing
Mm.
what I'm doing already. Say less basically, and that's how that happened. So she shared with me about getting certified and doing all of that preliminary work. So I did that. I went to the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching, which is one of the premier coaching schools in the ICF, which is the International Coach Federation. And I
Mm.
became a certified coach all the way back then. And I know it was almost 20 years ago because I was pregnant with my son and he's 19.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
How long is that course? How long did it take you to get your certification?
It was about a 9 month course. I'm not sure how much what it is now because we were one of the first cohorts. I tell you how long ago that was, but it
Mm-hmm.
was
Hmm.
about 9 months to do that.
So that's serious. 9 months is a serious amount of time to
Hmm.
get certified in any field. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So let me ask you this: how do you go about attracting new clients?
Social media a lot of the time, but a lot of my clients actually come from word of mouth. So there, I have a few people that have been kind of like the hub because my business when it was the Power Players Club and also now my primary brand is called Girl Get Your Life Together, and that's where that song that you were playing earlier is coming from. And one way or another, like I always loved groups. Like even when I was doing the certification and they teach you how to get clients and all of the things, I always believed in the power of community, right? So
Hmm.
my brand focuses on community. So it's easier, like people come in because, I might have met Tiffany somewhere and Tiffany's like, this is great. Then her friend, she invites her friend and then now, they're both a part of the community and it goes like that, right? So it's really organic for the most part.
I like that a lot. You mentioned also that you've been on the stage with the likes of Les Brown, one of my favorite, favorite all-time motivational speakers. He has a phrase says, and you probably heard him say that: "If you can look up, you can get up." That
Hmm.
was one of my favorite phrases. He says that all the time. And I remember going back several decades. When the first time I saw him, I was, wow, this is incredible. Now, you mentioned like word of mouth, social media, how you attract your clients. Also, when you go on your speaking engagement, I would imagine then, and I'm sure you have your books there. You have your book. Oh, by the way, how many books do you have?
I have 3 books, and I have one that's coming out in March. So
Okay.
March 5th, which is actually
Hmm.
called Black Girls Manifest. That's that song, like all the things. So, I
That's it.
created the songs that are directly related to the processes that I use in my business. So the book is called Black
Mhm.
Girls Manifest, Heal, Love, and Manifest the Life You Deserve.
Wow.
Boy, I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I can imagine that you would get some of your clients, or do you get obtain some of your clients when you go out on your speaking engagements? When you
Of
are
course.
doing your, yeah,
Mhm.
I can understand that. I can understand that. Tiffany.
Okay, so just going back a little bit here, before you got into life coaching, what were you doing prior to, and did you, what was it that you wanted to do before you became a life coach?
Well, I was actually doing I was a teacher. So before that, when I was in college, I thought I wanted to be a child psychologist. I know I wanted to do something that was about, psychology. My degree was in human development and family studies from Cornell University. And I really thought I was going to be that, but that didn't pan out. But, for whatever reason, I did not have the guidance that I thought I should have to direct me on how to start in that career. And then I ended up being a teacher. And most of the people in my family are teachers or nurses or principals, right? So it kind of naturally went that way. And funny enough, when I was 5, and I still have the picture of this, we did like, we graduated, but the graduation was you had to bring like props that were about what you wanted to be when you grew up. And I had a book and I had a ruler. And I was like, because I want to be a teacher. I didn't know I was 5, right? Like that's all I knew. That I knew teachers, right? And I wanted to be a teacher. And then sure enough, when I graduated from college, I went straight to being a teacher. And I learned from that experience that I do really love teaching. That is definitely a passion of mine. Like I got it honest. I got it honest. It's in my family blood. But I realized I did not like teaching school.
Mm-hmm.
What I
Mm,
loved about what I was doing is I loved my kids, all of the classes that I ever had. I love my kids. But what I loved the most was teaching them who they needed to be successful. And I had classes a couple of the years where they were supposed to be the bottom class. They were the bottom class for lack of a better way to put them. That's what they were labeled, right? Um, and we got them to performing at a top. level. Like I remember after that, and now mind you, their first test that they had to do is in November. So it was still the beginning of the year. It was a social studies test because it was fifth grade. And the social studies test, they have to write,
Mm-hmm.
have to do short answers, they have to do multiple choice, all about social studies that they were supposed to learn last year, and they were the bottom class. So you know how much they probably learned then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized by seeing their scores, these are kids who were barely passing their classes. A lot of them were already held back one or two times while they were in my class. They were not 10 years old. They were like 11, 12 years old. And they did better on that test than the actual top class did. I told them, I was like, we're putting a sign on the door that says this is the top class. Right. But
Wow.
that's what I learned from that. That's when I realized like what I love teaching is how to motivate someone to become the best, but it
Mm-hmm.
takes still in them that they are the best, because those kids were so used to people shutting them down and telling them that they weren't the best, and they were acting like it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow. That is so amazing how that like kind of just intertwine. You know what I'm saying? Like you was already kind of doing a little bit of the life coach
Mm-hmm.
before you even knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's amazing how things worked out. You know what I mean? That's awesome that you do you keep in contact with any of your students
I do.
today? Yeah.
I do. A lot of them are my friends on Facebook. Some of them have been part of the Power Players Club, come to some of my workshops, which has
Mm-hmm.
been an amazing full circle moment. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I get to be a teacher again, even when you're like 27. That's crazy.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I know you probably feel like, man, I'm getting older. Like, I remember when you was in fifth grade.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's good. So we know that you're a life coach now. And then just going based off of your bio here, it says that you tend to do or help people do self-discovery, self-love, and manifesting their deepest desires. So, my question is, how can you help someone manifest their deepest desires?
Well, funny enough, you just named my framework, right? Because that's in basically everything that I do. Even my website is Heal Love Manifest.com,
Okay.
right? And like I said about the book, the subtitle is Heal, Love, and Manifest.
Okay.
Live the life you deserve, because that's the framework. So in my experience, a lot of people, when they teach about manifesting, they're like, oh, the law of attraction, and this is how we bring things into our lives, and all that's great, and I'm a doctor of metaphysical science, so that's my jam, right? That's where I live. That's the wheelhouse. But what I do also realize that is that in order for us to manifest things more quickly, we have to identify the things that have been in our way that keep us blocked from those things, because all of us have had experiences where we have manifested things. You're like, wow, I was just thinking about that and then that happened, or I said this was going to happen and then it happens. Usually those are things that you don't have any resistance around, right? You just were saying it, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing, and then you do, right? And it's great, or it happens and it's great, right? But we all also have those things where it's like, dad, why do I keep having this experience? Why is this the experience that I keep having? All these other people are having great relationships, or they can easily bring money into their life, or they just their business is booming. Why is mine the way that it is? And 100% of the time is because we are blocking it with things that are stopping it because we're not in alignment with it, right? And that is our thoughts, our emotions, all of that, right? So those are things that have to be healed first. So there's work to be done, because if it was just as easy as knowing the law of attraction, we'd all just have all the things we want, right? And
Right.
that's not how that goes, right? So there are other parts to it, and those are the parts. It's learning to heal those wounds that have kept you blocked, or believing that you deserve whatever it is you already have. And some of those are even unconscious a lot of the time. And that includes then that self-love piece. So the love part is self-love, right? That's the part about knowing that you're worthy, knowing that you deserve whatever it is that you want, knowing how to set boundaries around things. Because if you can set boundaries with people, you can set boundaries with the universe. And God's going to say, okay, we got parameters here. She know what she want for real, or he knows what. Otherwise, we all over the place. Like, listen, I got it in the bag. This is me imagining this what God's saying, right? And he's like, I got it in the bag. I'm over here holding it for you. You don't even know that you want it. I hear you saying it, but you're not being that you want this.
Right, right,
Mm,
right.
Right.
So, okay,
mm,
yeah, because I've also heard like they say like faith without works is dead.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
so, I heard someone say the other day that if you want to be, I don't know, a multimillionaire, so to speak,
Mhm.
or a wealthy person, you can say, I want to be a wealthy person, I want to be a multimillionaire, but like, what are the action steps that you are taking to execute it or to bring that into fruition?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I guess that kind of goes hand in hand, that you have to take action steps,
mm.
because I want to be a screenwriter. And
Yeah.
so I know God has gotten on me plenty of times, like, okay, you can't even take 30 minutes out your day to work
Mhm.
on your craft. And I have this a friend of mine, he's also a coach, or life coach, and he always talks about mastering your craft. And
Mhm.
so even if it's nothing but taking 30 minutes out your day, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, to work on it, at least you're showing that you're making, first of all, you're being consistent, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And you're taking actionable steps for that thing to come to pass.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. I agree.
And, there's another part to that that's really important. And I
Hmm.
really want you to
Mhm.
hear this because this is the missing part in all of this, right? It's part of that self love part, it's part of the healing part. But you also have to ask yourself, who am I being right now that's not in alignment with screenwriter?
Hmm.
Because that's actually what's in your way at the moment. Right?
Hmm.
Because you can know to do all the things, right? How many of us, like, we could have gone to the same school, we could have took all the same classes, graduated the same year, and go totally different paths,
Hmm.
right? Because it's not about knowing the things. You could know the things. You could master your craft, and you could still stay stuck where you are.
That's true.
Because it's not about knowing the things, is who is Tiffany going to have to become to be this person?
Hmm.
That's the most important part, right? That's why those things go first, the healing, the self-love, because those are things that we'll overlook, thinking that it's only that, because then there comes inspired action. When you feel more aligned, you're going to naturally take those steps,
Hmm.
but you're aligned with them. When I was younger, not too much younger than this, to be fair, right? So
Hmm.
let's just say within the last 20 years, I was not the person that's talking to you right now,
Hmm.
even though this
Mm,
is what I wanted to do for a living. Imagine that. I was extremely shy,
Hmm.
extremely. I would hyperventilate if it could be only us in the room, the people that's on this screen, we could be in the room, and you could ask me to stand up and introduce myself. I would literally hyperventilate. That's how much I did not like to speak. I used to think I was invisible, that people could, like, if I just stood still somewhere and didn't move, people could walk right through me and it would be fine. I was even
mm,
the valedictorian of my class, and I thought I was going to pass away, to be quick, because I had to address my class in this big, you know, it was a lot. I was not this person.
Wow.
I had to become this person.
mm,
This person could not hold the business that I'm creating. That
Hmm.
mm.
back there. This is
Hmm.
this is somebody different. I had to become her. And there's more to that because there's levels to this game,
Right.
right?
Right.
So for you, you have to decide, who do I need to become, Tiffany, to be the screenwriter that I know I'm meant to be.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
That's outstanding. Let me ask you, there's an old adage or old saying that we are our own worst enemies.
Hmm.
And I think that's what I'm interpreting based on your conversation with Tiffany there, is that we stand in our own way. Uh, and those are blockers. And with you and your story saying that you're not the same person that started this business. How did you overcome? And I heard that you would hyperventilate before you gave a presentation. How did you overcome that fear? How did
Well,
you
part of
overcome
it
it?
was Part of it was I did a lot of inner work. So I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of videos. I listened to a lot of back then like tapes, right? Because kind of date myself, but that's what it was, right? And still to this day, I do that, you know. But it was identifying, watching other people who were in the field who I loved and how they would be, like Lisa Nichols, for example, one of my favorite, right? And I would watch how they would be, and I would imagine myself, right? That's kind of biblical too, right? Beginning with
Mhm.
the end in mind, right? We're planting the seed before we see the fruit. And so I would imagine for myself what it'd be like if I stand in front of people and be able to give a keynote like that, or stand in front of a big audience like that. And then I had to practice in real life. That that part is where you're going to start to see the shift, right? Because it's one thing to see it in your mind. And side note, our minds don't know the difference. So if you play those things in your mind, how you want them to go and how you imagine them to go, right? That's one thing that I don't like about the school system. Part of the reason why I did not like teaching, the imagination is snuffed out of it, out of at an early age. But that's our creative power, is your imagination. 'Cause your mind doesn't know the difference. Do you know that runners, a lot of Olympic runners, or people who train like in the Olympics, etc., they will practice their game. They'll practice their run. They do that in their mind. They're not even up running. They could be laying in their bed, but they're practicing what they're doing in their mind. Because your mind doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know if you're doing that out here or in here, right? Which is why it's so important to train and curate our thoughts. That's part of that healing process, right? Because it doesn't know the difference, right? So, but you do need both ors because you live out here in the 3D world, right? And so if you, and in this case, what I was doing, I would do those things and then I would give myself small ways to practice that, right? Stand up
Mhm.
in front of like a few people, just say your name without hyperventilating. Could just say your name without hyperventilating. Let's start with that, right? Like just little things until it became big things. One of the other things that I used to do, I still do it to this day because I still need to do it because that girl is still in there, right? I will agree to something, and back then it felt much bigger than it does now. But I would agree to do speaking engagements that I knew full well there was way more than 4 people in that room. You have to, right? Like in your case, you might have to submit, put your name in the hat for a screenwriters contest before you start. You see what I'm saying? Right? Something that's going to pull you toward who you're saying that you want to be.
Mm.
Right. And that's what I was doing.
Oh boy. It sounds like that you what we need to do. We need to challenge ourselves to do things that we ordinarily wouldn't do.
Hmm.
And my question, how did you would talk about these young adults or young people that they were failure and then all of a sudden they became the best. How did you transform them into where they were to the level of success that you achieved?
Well, first of all, I spoke to
Some of
them
the things
as a
that you
human
did.
being. That was the first thing. They were so used to, and I know everybody here been to school. Everybody has either been that kid or knew that kid in their class where no matter what they did, the teacher like, oh God, you got Derek in your class, or you have Robert in your class, and they got a reputation off the bat, right? And what did I say about power? The P is perception is key, right? And so these kids are walking into an environment with the perception of them, and we know that about our Black boys and girls in general, right? The perception of them was already skewed. They came into my classroom expected me to treat them that way and to see them that way.
Mm.
And I didn't do that. So that already resonated with them because it was like, what's happening? Like, we're supposed to be trying to get her put out. Like that was what they used to do. Legitimately, I'm not kidding. The year before, they had 4 different teachers that they figured out how to make leave. And they almost made me leave too. That first day, couple of days of school, I said, Mom, I'm not coming back. I'm not doing it. Nope, nope, nope. Can't make me. But she was like, yeah, we don't do that here. So I guess you're going back, ain't you? Right. And but I needed that experience because that's where I learned the power of being able to shift someone's perception by speaking life into them.
Mhm. Mhm.
When they
Mm.
did things that weren't quite right, I didn't make it about who they were as a person. I made it as it's a bad choice. And who did you say that you want to be? Right. In those cases, they wanted to get out the fifth grade. Like I said, half my class was not supposed to be in the fifth grade.
Mhm.
Right. And we talked about like, how's that going to happen? Right. Like there's certain things that have to happen. I'm with you. In fact, you already have 100 in this class. Right. You going to make it go back down. It's not the other way around. You're starting with that. You want to keep it. What are we going to do? Right? And just
Ah.
being partners with them and treating them like humans. I didn't belittle them. These are things that side note, when I did finish my certification, I went into schools to train teachers how to do that because the results that I was getting were phenomenal with those kids.
Mhm.
Nobody had that with those kids because they decided about them already, right? And so that's what I was doing. And I would go to schools and do workshops, go into classrooms and kind of model those things with the teachers. And you know how like when teachers like to yell at kids, and they embarrass them and they're not realizing, hey, these are people. And if somebody did that to you, you wouldn't like that very much. I used to do that in the workshop too. I used to give them like some of them a little like pin or a banner so I would know that those are the people I should be really mean to, right? And you
Mhm.
should know how they were reacting. So I told them, I said, what do you think is happening inside of your children when you're doing that to them? And especially in front of their peers, right? So that helped develop a system of like, if you were doing something crazy, Tiffany, in the classroom, I might say it to the whole classroom, like, okay, I need everybody's attention. You still doing what you're doing. I might walk closer to you, tap you, right? So it's more silent, like I'm talking to you, but
Mhm.
also I'm like, Tiffany, why are you still talking in the class? And I'm gonna, not that,
Mhm.
right? So to me, it demonstrated what respect does. A lot of times, and we've grown up that we old school, all of that, right? The adult is the adult. I basically could abuse you with my words, and you're supposed to be all right with that. Those kids was not those kids. That's why they were the way that they were. They were like, yeah, no, you're not
Mhm.
doing me, right?
Mhm.
But they realize like, no, this is a person that actually cares about me as a person. She's not trying to embarrass me. She's just trying to make me better.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. They
You
say
know,
life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Teachers, you have some really, really great teachers out here, but you also
Mhm.
have some horrible teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. I believe I was in the fifth grade, and I was talkative. I wasn't a bad kid at all. Wasn't a bad kid, and I wasn't a dumb kid. All right, I could have gotten better grades. I was around C, low B, C average, stuff like that. But I used to like to joke around, talking back. And so me and Debbie, I was talking to my friend Debbie, and we chuckling in the back room. And the teacher said, "Debbie, I want you to stop talking to William, and I want you to bring your seat up front and move away from him because he will never be anything in life."
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow.
I knew then that was horrible. That was horrible. Um, she had her favorites that she, and apparently I wasn't one of those. And it didn't matter whether I was a favorite or not, but you don't teach or treat anyone that way.
Mm.
And we had some kids that dropped out the next year because of the way she treated them and other teachers treated them.
Wow.
And yet I was so angry with her. I said, I'm going to show you. You're not going to dictate my life. But it shouldn't have been that way. I
Mm.
use that to motivate myself to move forward, but it shouldn't have been that way. And to this day, I don't like her,
I hear that.
And I'm saying, no, this is wrong. It is so wrong.
Yeah.
I saw one of my classmates who was a brilliant, brilliant artist. And the next year when I went to school, he was on the corner with the boys. He wasn't going to school, had dropped out. A fifth grade, well, he had left it. I don't know whether he passed the fifth grade or not. I'm not sure. But our next year in the sixth grade, I saw him on the street corner. I'm saying, wow, someone could have saved him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I use that as a motivating factor. And even decades later, I remember that. And every time I remember her saying, he'll never be anything. I said, no, I'll show you. But like I said, I shouldn't. That's to me is negative motivation. I don't know what you would actually call that,
That
but
would
like I
be.
said, there's some great teachers. Yeah. I love the way your approach, like you said, from day one. I've never heard this done before, but it's absolutely brilliant. And you gave your children, your class, 100. You got 100. Whoa. I can imagine how psychologically, can you imagine? I can imagine what that felt like to them. And you say, and it's up to you to lose it. So I can imagine
Mhm.
them saying, oh no, I'm not going to lose this. I've been
Yep.
finally given a chance. Finally, someone believed in me. I'm not going to let this go. What a
Yep.
motivation there. Wow. I'm excited. Robert, I love your
Mm.
approach. Really love your approach. Robert.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Cleveland, for being here on the show this evening. And you definitely have an amazing background. Also, I had a chance to find a little bit more information on you online as well, as also do Instagram as well. People, you can follow her on Instagram as well. The specific site you have to look for on IG is Get Your Life Together on Instagram. So
Mhm.
make sure you follow that, and that's for women and men as well, because sometimes we need to get our lives together as well.
Yep. Boy,
So
you too.
one of the things I saw in the bio is your. I think you say New York, New York. Can you give us a little bit of the background of where you're originally from, and
Yeah.
how you got to? Are you still based in New York, or just your origins, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I still live in Brooklyn. So, Brooklyn all day. Even though I might visit other places, Brooklyn is home. And that's just I can't say that's just the way it's gonna always be, but hey.
It's the idea of wherever you're led by the spirit of wherever you need to go. That's what's important too.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. But right now, Brooklyn is still Brooklyn is still the home base.
Now, basically, have you branched out in? Now, also mentioned that you have your books, and you said your third book is on the way. Um, where else can people, like, say, for instance, do you do like various different seminars in Brooklyn, or like say, for instance, do Zoom calls? Like, how does it? How can people get in contact with you if they want more information and basically want to help their lives?
Well, right now, what they could do is go to my website, which is heallovemanifest.com. And there's actually a manifestation readiness check that's there that they can grab, right? And that'll give them like a quick kind of snapshot of where they are in terms of being in alignment with the things that they say that they want. So that's the important way. And then when I do have things that are coming up, I will, I usually send it to my email list and things like that so people can participate. This year is going to be fully dedicated to Black Girls Manifest. Boy, you too. Right. Funny enough, all of my pre-sales so far have been from men. So, that lets me know I will be doing a workshop for men, Black men manifest too. Um, because
Mm.
it's really important. And I not because I want to necessarily segregate it, but I focus on Black women specifically because we are the womb, right? We are the place where birth begins. And so if we have the tools to be able to now teach someone, we're going to teach the kids, right? And we're going to, cleave to our partners and share that information. Not saying that guys can't do that, right? But that's been the role of women. And so we all have heard that before, right? Like when a woman heals, she heals her family. And when a family heals, they heal the community. And when the community heals, they heal the world. That's the mission.
Mm. Mm.
And so we're starting at the womb. We're starting at the place where birth happens so that it has an opportunity to proliferate and move forward. But it's always Men too.
Absolutely. Now, was there basically where you started out being like we did mention about how you became a speaker and basically how you had to overcome some of the challenges that you had to go through internally to be able to be where you are today. So that's definitely a testament to your resolve. And I give you very great kudos on that. I'm still trying to work on that myself in certain areas of my life. But basically, the idea of you also bring your skills to basically to different businesses, educational, social organizations as well. What group basically gives you the greatest feeling in regards to when you speak in front of people and the audience seems like they get it?
Yeah. Well, that really is what it is, right? Like just seeing, when people are nodding, when people have those aha moments. And for me, like when I'm doing a speaking engagement, it's the teacher in me. I tell people that all the time. Whenever I'm speaking, I'm rarely just talking at people. They have to participate, right? Because there's also something about witnessing yourself in those moments. Like I could say all the things, but you standing up and saying, this is what I'm standing for myself, right? That's a powerful acclamation. Speaking of power being in the words, right? It's one thing to listen. That's only one like mode that we have, right? But when you speak it's something about those words coming from you that's super powerful. So when I hear that, and that's one of the things that make it that I will keep getting in front of audiences and keep doing what I'm doing. Because like I said, it's not natural to me, right? It's more natural now, but there's still, I'll be in the backstage, they're getting ready to call my name. I'm like, right? Like I'm still doing that. That is still happening. Right. But I look forward to knowing that I am connecting some dots that wouldn't otherwise be connected. And it pulls me to keep doing what I'm doing. That is the best feeling. And to watch people stand up and proclaim themselves in the process.
Wonderful. Amazing.
You know
definitely.
Right. And what I want to do right now, you sent me several clips, and ladies and gentlemen, I believe we talked about this off air, and you have some cuts that I'm going to play. I'm going to play a little snippet of each one of these cuts right here, and I want you to tell us what made you, or not what made you, what motivated you to create. The first one I played earlier, which I really like, is Black Girl Manifest. I really love that. I'm gonna go through this and kind of tell us how are you using your music? Why did you create, and what motivated you to do so? Be back right after this. I played this earlier.
Cocoa blazing with the stars on the rise. Every curve, every coil got the sun hypnotized. A crown made of struggle, yet we shine so divine. Magic in our melanin, it's our moment to shine. Black girl, manifest power in your hands. Dance to your rhythm, shake up all the lands. They can't dim the glow built within your chest. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess. Strut like a queen, break the mold every step.
I like that.
Lipstick fierce, leaving words in the pep. Gold in our laughter, fire in our stride. We the movers, the shakers, ain't nowhere to hide. Black girl, manifest power in your hands. Dance to your rhythm.
Sister, rise up, feel the fire in your soul. Heal the cracks and make yourself whole. Crown your head with love and light. You are the sun that breaks the night. Girl, get your life together right now. Manifest the dreams that show you how. Walk in your power, on your throne. The universe bows where you have grown. Heal the wounds that that tried to claim you. Find the strength that always named you. Black girl magic in your veins is gold. A story of triumph only you hold. Girl, get your life together right now. Manifest the dreams that show you how. Walk in your power on your throne. The universe bows where you have grown. Rise up, girl, it's your new day. Wipe those tears and throw them away. You're a diamond shining so bright. Manifest your world, claim your light. Glow up, queen, show the world your fire. Level up now, go and take it higher. Self-love's your crown, wear it proud. Healing's your anthem, sing it loud. Let the rhythm heal your soul inside. Mirror talks where your truth resides. Every scar's a map to you hold the stars within your hands. Fire burning, life expands. But shadows linger in the past. You've got to heal to make it last. Heal the cracks, mend the seams. Love yourself through every dream. Manifest the life you seek. You're the mountain, not the peak.
I wake up, gold dust on my skin. Dream so big, I'm leaning in. Hair like a crown, roots run deep. Black woman magic wakes the street. I manifest what's mine, can't you see? You know the gift shifts when it co-signs me. Head high, snapping through the fight. Radiant queen, dripping starlit night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Dre. No, not that Dr. Dre. This Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre Cleveland. Wow, 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 wow.
I prefer
Dr.
Dr.
Dre.
Dre. I prefer our Dr. Dre on the show a little bit better. The times pretty much
I
have
do
been
too.
passed.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Tiffany had a question. What platforms can your song be played on? And is this the no? I'll let you answer that question.
Well, right now, this is the platform that has been played on.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's
that's
what I,
exclusive. Okay.
Yeah, exclusive.
yes.
The
Dr. Dre
I
and
think,
I, we were. No, go on,
Sorry.
sweetie. Go on, please.
I was just gonna say, right now it's been only sold to people who are already in my network, so it's more private sale. And then so this is the first time that it's been played on the radio.
Wow. Oh my God. Cause look,
Wow. This
I was on YouTube and I'm like, I'm on YouTube Music and I'm like typing in your name and I'm typing in the song. I'm like, I can't find her.
No,
you
but that's
guess
okay.
what? You'll find it if you go and listen back on this show. As a matter of fact, I think I'll play this on one of my shows coming up. I have several music shows throughout the week that I play. And Dr. Dre, I'll send you a text message and let you know, okay, when it be played. And you can share this with your friends. How about that?
That'd be
As a
awesome.
matter of
Thank
fact,
you.
I think let's see. I will do it tomorrow night on my cultural excellence show. And let me just go on and give this station a plug. We are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with some of the finest, as you have witnessed here, some of the finest programs you can find anywhere around the globe. Music, talk, sports, comedy, entertainment, whole lot more. We don't do interviews. We have conversations with our guests like we're having today. And so check it out. Check out Dr. Dre Cleveland tomorrow right here on this network. We'll be available on Facebook, LinkedIn, our free app, and that is Studio W. If you have an Apple device, go to your Apple App Store and download Studio W. Google, Android, same thing. Studio W, Google Play, Apple CarPlay, Alexa. The website is also studio.buzz. Check us out. And you want to download those apps and or the website because you can take us with you all day, home, gym, office, or play. Dr. Dre, my favorite out of the whole, I like all of those. My favorite is Black Girl Manifest. What I really love about it, not only the tune, but the message behind that. Tell us a little bit more about that. And now, do you use this in some of your workshops? Do you play your music like if you are having a workshop or something of that nature? Speaking of engagement, how long? Okay, you're shaking your head. Yes. How long have you been using music and incorporating that into your work?
This actually just happened in 2025. So
Okay.
it started with the one that's called Girl Get Your Life Together, because that is my brand. And before, I had always wanted to have a theme song, and because it takes so
Mm,
much to do like studio recording, and you got to get like someone who can mix, and someone, I always write songs. Like I wrote songs since I was a kid, songs, poetry, all the things, right? And with my
mm.
songs, I would never get to hear them like actually fully produced, because where am I getting the people from? That takes a lot, right? So now with the advent of AI and a little program named Suno, I was able to bring these songs to life, which has been amazing, and a dream come true, to be honest. Because "Girl Get Your Life Together" was the first one, because I wanted a theme song for my brand, and when I put that in there, and then it did all of the music and all the things, I was like I cried literally. I was like, it did the thing. Like
Wow.
it's not me actually singing it, because the AI is singing it, right? But to hear, I was like, this is what I've been trying to do all this time. So now, when we have our sister circles or we're doing anything, I should back up. I have a sister circle. It is a free community for people who are following me. Obviously, sisters. Sorry, guys, you can't be in that part. But and so whenever we have events in there, I play it. I had an event in October, my first really big event for Girl Get Your Life Together, which was called the Selfie Ball, and we played some of the songs there. So now wherever I have opportunities to play it, and when I go do my speaking engagements in 2026,
Yeah.
probably that song is going to be the song, the one you like, because that one is based on the book and my signature program, which is called Black Girls Manifest.
Nice.
Black Girl Manifest. That's my favorite. That is
Yeah.
my favorite. Like I said, I love the message. I love the song. I love the beat. It has sort of oh my God, a sort of a country vibe, modern
Yeah.
country vibe. Not your grandparents' country music. I'm talking about modern country, which now music has come around so, I mean,
Hmm.
they have meshed and merged so much together that's really sort of hard to tell the difference between country and other genres of music. But I really, really like that. I really like that. Uh, Tiffany, wow, we got
Yes.
6 minutes. I don't believe it.
Oh,
Let me see here. I did have a question. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to go back to your bio. Okay. About because I was trying to find this on YouTube as well. Your documentary, Head Ladies in Charge, is that on YouTube?
I don't think so. It
Okay.
was we had it as a DVD, and I don't know. I would have to find out for you. I don't know. If it is, I will send it to you. But I
Okay.
don't think so because it was being sold as DVDs.
Where was that located? Was that in New Jersey or?
We actually did the screening in the movie
Mhm.
theaters in Jersey.
Okay, because I was looking and I saw. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hold on. Because I was like, I said, I wonder, is this it? Real quick, because I saw something like that. I don't know if you can see it on my. Uh, is that it right
Yep,
there? It looks like it.
it
Okay.
is.
Yeah,
That is
hold it
it.
still, hold it still.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you
Yep.
find there,
That was
Tiffany?
with him.
I went on YouTube, YouTube University.
Oh my God, it could be anywhere.
Yeah, cause was this like approximately 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just went on YouTube. Can you give us more information about that? Like what was that particular form about head ladies in charge?
Yeah, so it was a compilation of women who are doing big things in their respective spaces, but talking about like the story of coming to that place. So similar to like the conversation that we were having today. If I remember correctly, I was talking about my son and
Mm-hmm.
how he was also a catalyst for the work that I was doing
Mm-hmm.
because and that class
Mm,
that I had because I had them and then I had a child who is diagnosed with ADHD and has some autism traits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, he was being that kid in class. Imagine what I just told you and then
Wow.
I have the kid who's that kid in class,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah, it was a time. It was a time. And so having to draw from what I learned from the students that I had, coupled with what I was learning from being his mom and also homeschooling him for 5 to 6 of those years of him being in a school because I just didn't want him to become that kid. And I knew
Mm-hmm.
what it could be.
mm,
Speaking of what William just told us, he was that kid. And that's what teachers were saying about him. And he was
Mm-hmm.
you know
mm.
so right, so like just talking about that journey and how that helped to help me become who I've been being now in the space of personal transformation because he did great in homeschool and then he graduated. He actually just graduated. He's 19 now and he graduated from high school. He went to an actual school for the rest of schooling, but it was a free school, what they call a free school,
Mm-hmm.
where it's kind of like a homeschool but in a building so that he would have socialization, teachers,
Right.
all the things. And he graduated from there. He used to run a club there,
Mm-hmm.
like this kid who was supposed to be the bad kid, right? He graduated, was able to secure a job being a STEM teacher right out the gate. He also was
Mm.
able to do his own, he self-taught animation and
Okay.
coding. And then he was able to also do a virtual after school program. So, and he got paid for that was his first time getting paid. He was 15 at the time,
Wow.
right? So,
Pretty
just
exciting.
getting him to that point.
Awesome. That is
That's
so
pretty cool.
amazing. Yeah. That is so amazing how that
That's
was
very
kind of like a full circle. You know what I mean? Like you started with your kids from class to
Yeah.
having one of those kids to okay, like you can actually say, all right, I have experience in this field. I know what it takes,
Hmm.
saying to get him to where he needs to be. That is so amazing. It's so amazing how God works. And they say he works in mysterious ways. And it's just like you said, everything happened for a reason, not knowing that's what was going to happen. But eventually it worked out, and it sounds like he's excelling right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
nice.
well, Dr. Dre. It's been an absolute pleasure. We have 1 minute. Would you? I always ask this: is there something that you wish we had asked and we didn't, or something you want to share with the audience that we didn't cover?
I guess the quickest thing is I'm multifaceted. So while, like I said, I also write, but I'm also a dance teacher. So I still teach because I teach dance. and I'm also a choreographer, and I've been in several dance companies. So I still dance, also dance with the school that I teach at, which is called KS Jam Dance Troupe.
Cool. What kind of dance do you do?
I teach modern and jazz mostly, but we do all types. So yeah, we do African, hip hop, tap. I do not do tap because I could just pretend it on, like, it looked like I could do tap.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. But
So, so is it kind of like like the movie Save the Last Dance? Is it that type of dance, or you know what I mean?
part of it.
A little bit.
I love,
Yeah.
I love,
Part of it.
Nice.
Dr. Dre Cleveland, it's been an absolute pleasure. You have to promise us one thing, that you will be back.
Absolutely. I will absolutely come back. It's been a pleasure for sure. And meeting all of you. Really appreciate being here with you.
Nice. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And with that, this is my favorite. I told you that. This is what we're going out with. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another epic episode of Groove Swing Speaks. Check us out each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Enjoy your Tuesday.
Magic in our melanin, it's our moment to shine. Black girl, manifest power in your hands. Dance to your rhythm, shake up all the lands. They can't dim the glow built within your chest. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess. Strut like a queen, break the mold every step. Lipstick, fiercely, words gold in our laughter, fire in our stride. We the movers, the shakers, ain't nowhere to hide. Black girl, manifest power in your hands. Dance to your rhythm, shake up all the lands. Can't dim the glow built within your chest. Black girl, manifest, you're the soul's best guess. Got ancestors whispering, girl, don't you forget. You're a work of wonder, not bound by regret. Spin the globe with your hips, make the world confess. Black girl, your magic, you define success. Mirror reflections, don't lie, they're blessed. Every scar, every story is a badge of finesse. Say it loud, say it proud, be the voice.